welcome to Accidental Crusade.
Привет.
I am your host, Mark. I will be DMing for this evening. This is the Digital and Dice Wrath and Glory Warhammer 40k role-playing. Joining me today is voiceover guy Brian.
Hello!
We have Lysander.
Praise be the Omnissiah.
We have Dammit.
Kaluski.
And we have Cat.
Hey, y'all.
And where we last left our inquisitorial acolytes, you are on the planet of Argentum in Hive Ordinus. You had made your way through after being attacked by some rather odd gangers with some pretty high tech for what they should be equipped with. And upon making your way through some of the old sewer and transit tunnels, you were able to make it to an old manufactorum where you were to meet up with your contact, a man known as Viclan Melbrandt, Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor, who is your contact and your superior here on the planet. Upon arriving at the manufactorum, you made your way inside after a brief moment of assuring him that you had not been followed.
I thought he was going to shoot us.
It was a very real possibility.
He still might.
I mean, that's sort of my life, expecting people to put a bolt in me.
Indeed. And upon making your way inside, you met with Viclan Melbrandt himself. Again, around 6 foot tall, looking to be in his mid-40s, although you know him to be far, far older, thanks to the juvenile treatments that keep them young. His arm is a amazingly well-crafted cybernetic, chased in gold and platinum, and his hand was resting on top of an ornate bolt pistol. And as he welcomed you to Argentum, is where we find you there, standing in the manufactorum facing him. You note that he seems, for lack of a better term, frazzled. He seems like he's looking around, he's watching everyone very suspiciously. And from what you understand, the note that was sent out to have you come here was because his previous acolytes had been murdered by the cult. So he's staring at all of you with a little bit of a sideways glance. He has not taken his hand very far away from that bolt pistol. And he looks out at you. You have your identification.
Da.
Wait a sec.
Yes, Lord Melbrandt. I mean, we've got it right here. You looked
we
at
have
it as we entered the room.
Yes, give it to me.
Oh, good.
Yes.
He takes your identification, basically kind of it is a fairly subtle thing, usually encoded with some inquisitorial tech bits that make it so that only certain people can actually activate it. As he looks at it, you note that he kind of thumbs over the scanner that takes a little bit of the kind of physical matter, and it double checks like DNA scanning, all that tech wizardry. And as it scans it over, it flashes to life in a small holographic inquisitorial rosette floating slowly over the device. He nods and hands it back. Nods. All right. You got the message then?
Da.
Yep.
Yes, so with this cult that seems to have gained your special attention, is there, do we have a next step planned?
Well, your arrival is, it's fortuitous now. You've come at a time where some of our enemies are a little bit easier to track than they were before. There is the distinct possibility that the entire hierarchical structure of the Hive has been infiltrated. The nobility, the administratum, the PDF, the arbites, everyone. We can't trust anyone. But most importantly, you cannot tell them who you are. My previous acolytes were killed for who they were. If anyone were to find out that you were just another group of them, you would be hunted down and killed as well.
Do we have cover story?
Did you not come with one? As he looks around at the group for a moment.
I'm just a farm girl with, a banjo, and I don't know about you, but we got other stories behind us, right? We don't have to tell the story that's right now.
I'm a tech priest. My livelihood is my existence.
You'll need a reason why you're traveling together. If you're going to be here on planet.
She's better at hitting stuff than I am. And I'm better at book stuff than she is, so, you know.
Okay. He thinks for a moment. He kind of looks off into the middle distance. He nods, goes onto the table, kind of shuffles some things around, pulls out a data slate, tosses it on the table, says, credentials. We didn't end up using this, but it's identifications, call signs, travel itinerary, everything. He kind of looks at all of you for a moment and then looks at you. Maybe you. You.
Yes.
You're a Trovaxian noble. You're here for mining concerns.
Oh, Trovax.
Yes. You will, you're here to see about expanding your mining company here onto Argentum. And you've brought a bodyguard, a specialist to be able to analyze your ore, and someone to maintain your records.
I am good at muscle, yes.
Okay. That'll give you a cover as to why you're walking around with some military hardware, as well as why a tech priest would be traveling with you as well.
Ah, yes, working for the Trovaxian Combine.
Good. That will do. If anybody asks, that is who you are. This data slate has most of that information. No one here would have any idea who you are. Feel free to use whatever names you deem, but they won't be able to track it back anywhere further than that data slate.
All right.
So, what do you know?
Those toughs were wearing an awful lot of tech. Kind of nice tech, I think, but a little mismatched, maybe.
He nods.
That technologies should be far beyond their reach. The quality is way beyond that of even normal guardsmen. Typical officer attire at best, and even then, it's a stretch.
We also saw their comrades collect the augmentics that were left behind by their fallen Pink Mist and Chunks friends. So I guess they are going to reinstall in next person?
I would assume so, yes.
I believe it's also entirely possible that they may have some intel into our actual communication system, seeing that they set up an ambush on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Unless
Sorry, I hit my head in that last bit, and I guess I kind of forgot that there was an ambush.
welcome party is normal on Argentum.
This is why I think that some of the higher echelons of the nobility are involved. They're the only ones, especially again with the PDF and the RBTs. They're the only ones who would have been able to intercept or decode any of those communications. They're the only ones who would have known you were coming.
I have a question. If you are able to get communicate off of planet to us, why do we not go to higher ups and have planet and system eradicated, cleansed?
Your zeal is understandable. The planet is too useful. The things that it makes and the ore that it supplies to the surrounding systems and to the Imperium as a whole are too needed. We can't afford to lose this planet. We are here. It is our jobs and our Emperor-given duty to cleanse this evil, to bring it back into the fold of the Imperium, and to allow these people to move forward with their lives.
We just gotta pick the wheat out of the chaff and then burn the chaff, right?
Yes.
Da.
No need to burn the whole planet. Just the, extra leg people.
Well, when you burn whole planet, you get everything. You eradicate. It works.
But
it is
it sets
super
the-
effective.
Yeah,
It
but
sets
you
the
got
timeline of the
nothing left to
planet
work.
back.
You got
It
nothing
does.
left to work with if you burn it all.
Well, I mean, I guess the next thing would be to expose whom is leaking the information down to their enforcers. Maybe several different messages through different avenues, all using different bits of information. We see who reacts to what information and can go further from there.
If we had the time, I agree. But at this moment, and he reaches over to another stack of papers and data slates, and he pulls one over and puts it down on the desk in front of you. Says, "This person is who I believe to be near the heart of of this investigation. My friends were attempting to investigate him prior to, well, needless to say, if you start looking into this man, you'll need to be careful. He is well connected. His name is Tobias Endrot. And as you pick up the data slate and start kind of looking through, you see the some information about a man in his timeline-wise kind of late 90s, although he looks again to be in kind of like mid-30s, barrel-chested, bald man, thick arms, wearing a stylized military outfit, but it doesn't look like what you would expect the actual officers to be wearing. More of the outfit of a noble than, but like a noble military commander rather than just a rank and file or an officer. And he says, this particular individual is very well connected to a lot of the PDF and the RBTs on the planet. He funds quite a bit of their things. He works with them. He pals around with their officers and their enlisted. And currently, he'll be, as far as my intelligence is still aware, he'll be at a bar known as the Bravest in the mid-hive. And he'll be there with a card tournament for the next week. If you're going to investigate him, that would be where I would send you. But be careful.
He is best place to start, you believe?
He nods. Again, your predecessors were investigating him when they were killed. So, be careful. Take what steps you need. But I believe him to be the cause.
How are we getting back to the city now that our transportation has been ruined?
There is a grav train station nearby. If you take the grav train from there, you'll be able to make it to the mid-hive. It should only take you maybe an hour or two to get in.
Very well.
Do you feel comfortable having us come back to Safe House, or would you like us to acquire other lodgings?
Acquire what lodgings you need. Send me the coordinates and the addresses when you have them. He hands you a small, just piece of parchment with some numbers written on it, which are the communication codes to reach his personal Vox.
Da.
And this is a secure line, you say?
He nods. I can be reached at this, and I'm fairly certain this one remains secure.
Is there any way that I could check that or confirm it?
You could try, but the equipment you have available at this moment isn't really set up for it.
All right.
But definitely keep that in mind.
Would my arm be more capable?
Yours is a Vox caster and receiver, but it wouldn't be able to tell whether it's being monitored or not.
Okay.
You'd need specialist equipment for that. But he says that if anything, speak in code. Don't say anything outright. Don't make claims. Don't use names. Use whatever code you can think of. I'll figure it out. But if you need to give me information, make it obtuse. We don't want people immediately knowing what our plans are.
Oh boy, this is going to get interesting. Okay.
Very well.
You like puzzles?
I can work through it.
I feel like he can handle it. I mean, you know.
Is there a way to, insight him?
You may indeed. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Oh, can I help with that?
I don't...
How
would I do that?
You with the insight roll, you're actually just kind of listening to him, looking at his demeanor, looking at other things that kind of trying to figure out if anything's off or what have you. As for how you might assist, how would you go about assisting with that insight?
Is there could I Google him?
You could attempt to look up in your database if there's any information that might go against what you're actually seeing.
Yeah, like check his stats against the stats that are...
Yeah. So go ahead and roll that while you're kind of giving him the once-over.
Could I actually try to assist in this by conversing further with the Inquisitor to try to sort of put him at ease a little? I guess attempt to
Perhaps
persuasion.
Cunning, persuasion might work then. Yeah.
I'm going
One
to
of these
take
is right,
cunning
yeah?
because I think I
Yes.
can do that better.
So go ahead and roll yours as well. So you're assisting, and any exalted icons?
Yeah, I got 1 exalted.
Okay, so your exalted icon will shift over to Dammit's roll.
Sadly, I got more successes than failures, but I did not get any
Okay.
exalted.
So Dammit, go ahead and roll 1 bonus die. Okay.
Bonus success.
So what do you got total there?
4 is space, yes?
4 is the success, yeah,
Okay.
and then 5 is 1 success, 6 is 2 successes.
Okay, so I have 7 successes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So with
Anytime.
Starchy over there attempting to kind of put him at ease while conversing with him about like, oh, well, this is what we think we might do. We'll try this, and kind of keeping him busy while you're watching him, while you're looking up what you know and what the database files you have on Viclan Melbrandt are. What we'll say is on your investigation, as you're looking through the data files, you'll note that a lot of the depictions of Melbrandt are like cool under fire, like almost never breaks a sweat, and is generally considered to be just like a cool-headed person who will be standing amidst a firefight with a kind of just a raised eyebrow as everyone around him is exploding. So if anything, that seems a little off.
Yeah, he seems a little shook up now.
But you do also remember that when you guys came in, he basically used the DNA scanner to basically like beep the icon to turn the thing on. So you're fairly certain that this is who you say that he is who he says he is.
They got
But he
under his
definitely
skin.
is a little off. Your insight, you are certainly seeing that as well. You're noting that his demeanor seems on the kind of top level. He seems like he's kind of scattered and looking around trying to figure things out. But you note that underneath it is this kind of like, for lack of a better term, you're fairly certain that at least some of the erratic behavior is a facade. You're unsure as to what exactly is underneath it, but you're pretty sure that at least some of the behavior seems like a little played up. But you can't quite put your finger on it.
Fascinating. This is not my area of expertise.
People.
Emotions.
I'm not modified for that.
Meat puppets.
But he basically, you have the data slate that has Endrot's name on it and his information and where he is going to be. He says that if you leave now, you'll be able to make whatever preparations you need before this evening, where more than likely he'll be there at the bravest. Any questions?
I believe that should cover it. Have we seen any particular gangs that have any of the known gangs that have been showing affiliations with the cult more?
Well,
because the ones that we fought, they seemed apart from the 2 documented gang affiliations that our intel has given us.
well, some of the other gangs, specifically the Titan Sons, have been very active lately. There's been a lot of noise from them, but nothing direct. I'm unsure as to whether these new ones are associated with them or not, but it would be a distinct possibility. They are some of the ones that get their hands on a lot of the other augmetics, although these ones are a little bit different than what they normally work on. But it's entirely plausible that this new group has been acquiring parts from them. They might be a lead as well.
Well,
Excuse me,
have
that
there
was
been
just...
any attempts to? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to run
It's
over you there.
It's all right. Go ahead. I was just tuning up my banjo over here.
Have there been any attempts to create some sort of tension between the other gang and the imbalance of the power struggle between them at this current juncture?
You're if you're attempting to start or at least spark a larger gang war than there already is, we didn't go down that road. We were attempting to be more subtle, especially due to if we were to start a gang war between, say, the Kraken Jaws and the Titan Sons.
Yes.
If they were to get into all-out warfare more than they already are, it might create a power vacuum where this new gang might make their way in and might become more of a problem than they already are.
Understood.
Could that be used at some point as a trump to try and draw out those we need to draw out
Like
at a
an
later
ace in a
date?
hole. If we made a power vacuum and then filled it with our own people, that would be cool, but sounds like maybe people aren't on the way for a little while.
It could be done. If that is a direction you wish to take it, I would support you.
I do not believe now is the time for such action, but something we will definitely keep in our arsenal.
Yeah, let's stick that in the back pocket for later.
I have my suspicions about those of the outer hive as well. I believe that they are a little bit too peaceful to be true.
The data packet we got when you sent our communique, it indicated that the outer hive was separatist. How you say people who don't fight? Pacifist, I think.
That's what they like to say, but their guards are as armed as anyone else's.
Got two of them.
Pacifism seems an
Indeed.
incredibly distasteful thing.
If anything, they would be the ones who would be able to trade with any of the others. They stay rather neutral in a lot of the different territorial disputes, but that also means that they would have the most to gain from the other ones losing territory. At this point, trust no one.
I don't.
Good.
Well then, my Lord Melbrandt, I feel that we should be off and try to, if we are able to get an opportunity, should we try to capture Tobias Undrot?
If you're able to get him alone and interrogate him,
Oh, this is no problem.
I believe that would at least shed some light on some of the dealings that they might have.
Did you just volunteer to get him alone?
No. I
That's what I heard.
volunteered to interrogate. I am good at this. This is skill taught at Progenium. This is good.
Being alone with someone isn't an interrogation?
No, sometimes you just get a little tangled up.
Are you equipped for that?
You're not going to find out anytime soon.
That is good. The third arm does not do it for me.
Oh no.
Don't forget stabby tail.
This is not an image I needed in my poor little meat brain.
Too late.
Well, your
Oh dear.
your lordship, I feel like we should be off.
You best go. Make haste. You have much to do.
If I may, sir, before we leave, our last Inquisitor sadly is, missing his lower half, but still doing good work for the Emperor.
Yes.
We worked a little more closely with him. We were not
I'm
necessarily...
not him.
Yes, sir.
You're to go off and do your jobs and report back. If you were sent without the ability to operate on your own, then you're worthless to me.
We got this.
Noted. Thank you, sir.
Do what you can. Report back.
Hey. Very snappy salute.
He just goes back to what he's working on, almost as if you're not there anymore.
Shall we go catch a train?
Do let's.
Do I still have that map on my...
You do.
All right, here's the map. Let's go for it.
So you guys are able to make your way out of the manufactorum. The security systems continue to watch you as you're making your way out. The servitor-run auto guns are basically watching you move and tracking your movement, but they, you leave without any incident. And sure enough, about a mile away, you guys are able to get up onto a platform that some of the grav trains are making their way by. And as you're waiting, you note that the city around you is, again, this kind of ruined area between some of the areas of the mid-hive that are still thriving. And off to both sides of you, you can see basically the walls that separate the inhabited parts of the mid-hive from the ruined sections that you're in now. The grav trains make their way through the ruined sections because they need to get there somehow, and they seem to be, if there was any part of the ruined outer hive areas that are guarded, it is the grav trains and the platforms to make it so that these would run uninhibited. So as you make your way up, you note that there is a guard, an actual PDF like outpost at the grav station, and as you make your way up, one of the people standing up front kind of has hand on the side of their las gun, kind of stops you as you're making your way out of the ruins.
Hello there, Darvis Maze with the Travaxian Combine. Our transport was taken out a ways back. My bodyguard was able to keep us all intact, but I believe we need to get ourselves a bit more to a civilized area. I hadn't realized that the urban sprawl had decayed as much.
Feel free to roll me a deception roll with 2 bonus die for the situation and what's going on. So feel free to roll that. As you stand there looking intimidating.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to kind of puff chest and
I would like to
flex
attempt to assist.
unnecessarily.
And I'm going to. I would like to make an argument that by being part of his retinue on tech, I would like to point out that we are quite behind schedule, my lord, and we best make haste.
Go ahead.
I like you calling me my
I
lord.
like that.
What?
Because you're a lord.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Which? What skill? What would you allow me to use? Tech, or is that a stretch?
Either cunning or deception for this one.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Good luck at peopling.
That's just a side comment. Then I'm not going to attempt to assist.
You know, I got
That's all
this.
right.
I got this planner over here, sir, and I think we better make a move on it.
Do you want to roll that?
Yes,
for
I
assisting?
do.
Okay.
I sure do.
That is a brilliant idea.
Look, we
She's
got all
evil.
these numbers to do. We've got lots of business.
Lots of business numbers.
Business happens. What was that?
So that was either cunning or deception.
I'll keep my unsettling voice out of this.
I got me an 8 in cunning.
All right.
I'm a cunning linguist.
How tall is the guard?
This guard about maybe like 5'8".
Okay,
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
taller.
Not Imperial Guard, PDF,
Oh.
meaning they are not mall cops, but they're definitely in comparison to Imperial Guard, they're the homeward ones. They stay on their planet.
Gotcha. I would like to give the one in front of me the rock eyebrow.
I see. You succeed.
Okay.
Let me see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Good
Wow.
gracious.
And we'll
The 4 exalted
we'll
icons
add
moved
some
over.
just gonna-
exalted to that.
I'm just gonna.
We have a-
3 exalted transfer because
Oh.
one of them needed to stay for the.
Also,
we have a glory.
can we get some glory over here?
Yeah. So that is a single point of glory added to your pool.
1.
Well, How about 7 successes? You know, 5 and an exalted.
So he looks at the group of you as you're doing what you do with
Very
the
busy,
eyebrow
very
and
busy.
the
Got some
data
numbers
slate and
going on.
the you, and as you he nods. Of course, my lord. By all means. Yes, make your way onto the platform, please. The train will be making its way here momentarily.
After
Good.
you, sir.
We're behind schedule as it is.
So as you guys make your way up to the platform itself, you're standing there. You note that there's probably about a dozen other PDF officers basically standing around, watching over. For lack of a better term, they're like pillboxes almost towards the top, where they have a nice protected view of the surrounding streets. And you do note that every so often on the buildings surrounding them, you see the scorch marks of las fire. So they certainly have had to defend this at one point or another. But as you're standing there, it only takes maybe 20 minutes or so of waiting, whereas none of the PDF come over to talk to you at all. They're just kind of standing off to the side, trying to be out of the way and inconspicuous. But one of the grav trains, you can hear the humming sound as it's coming closer, and you look over and there's an armored train making its way through, and it kind of slows to a halt in front of you, has a large emblazoned number on the front, says 58.
58.
And as it starts to continue by, you note that it goes by quite a ways until it gets down to like the last two compartments, and then it stops and the doors open.
One of you want to clear this for our lord here?
I would be happy to. I would like to clear corners, make sure everything is copacetic.
So you pull your plasma gun and you go in and start looking at corners. The people inside the train who are using it to transport themselves back and forth immediately blanch, like trying to squeeze themselves into every corner as a military hardware is pointed at them. There's one or two screams from people.
Now, Legasov, we don't need to scare everyone. We're just having a moment of temporary embarrassment taking public transportation.
One moment as I clear you a seat. I want to look meaningful at a mostly empty bench and make it empty.
The first thing you look at, whether empty or not, immediately upon you looking at them, they stand and move.
I found you a seat, my lord.
Good.
All right, looks okay to me.
Couple whispers of "Oh, by the Emperor!" as people start scuttling back and forth to get out of your way. One or two people actually leaving the compartment to get away.
Oh heck, you don't gotta run. We don't bite much.
So, as you make your way on, the doors seal closed. You hear that humming sound get a little bit louder as the whole thing kind of jolts for a moment and then continues on its way. You see out the armored windows as the ruins of the hive are starting to zoom past, and you're getting closer and closer to the large armored walls on the inhabited part of the hive.
I whip out my banjo and start playing.
Okay.
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
No, I won't.
I would like to keep braced against some sort of upright pillar, keeping weapon ready, keeping eyes on swivel.
Okay.
My friends all drive transport. I must make amends.
If sitting is normally required, I choose not to, and thus brace myself against the ceiling because I can.
Okay, so you hear this kind of like crunching sound as you basically brace yourself in the center of this thing, making it impossible for people to make their way by you on either side.
Perfect.
So you're standing there, you're sitting comfortably on the somewhat padded seat.
I don't know why people have always complained about the overcrowding of trains. This is quite comfortable.
And sure enough, you're just kind of going on your way. After just a little while, about 20 minutes, half an hour or so, things get dark outside as you enter the tunnels that lead into the mid-hive sections where the wall is kind of blocking out a lot of the light. So as you make your way in there, some of the internal lights kind of flicker on. And again, most people at this point are just kind of minding their own business. People looking at data slates, every so often looking up at the group and then like averting their eyes. But aside from that, it seems pretty much uneventful. No one involves themselves with you. No one gets in your way. You're a very intimidating group at the moment, and you started off on kind of the that particular foot.
Worked hard all my lifetime. Got no help from my friends.
Superiors.
So you're looking around, eyes on swivel. Go ahead and make me a... What's the one for this one? It's not spot. It's not... Awareness. Thank you. That's the one.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good at that.
You're playing banjo.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Legasov.
Oh, that is okay. That is only okay. Okay. I have 5 succession.
Okay.
So
5 success. 5 icons. Okay.
6. That's a hard word. Jesus.
So as you're looking around, when the internal lights came on, you note that like there are like running lights and such that are making their way down along the baseboards to make it so that people can walk around when it's darker. You note that nearby, towards the back side of the car you're in, on the left, there's only a single running light that isn't on. And it just, when you look over, the rest of everything, even when it kind of, like it blinked a few times, but all of them are on except for that one. It didn't even flicker. That's the only odd thing you've noticed so far.
Hey, look, them there lights are running. You better go catch him.
After you, starting corner.
Which corner? Oh, hey, that one's kind of dark, don't you think? I'm gonna go take a look-see. I strap my banjo back around my...
Okay. So you start making your way over to that part, and as you look down, it kind of catches your eye, because after Furia pointed it out, you're noting that, yeah, it is a little odd that the rest of them seem to be kind of, everything's working except for this one. You look down there, and kind of up, almost tucked under the seat itself, you see a port. And it's
Like a hole?
like a port that you would plug into, like a data terminal port.
Hmm.
And go ahead and roll me a tech roll, please.
Ooh, tech.
You can
I
do
have
it.
to, have the dice that I was holding.
I mean,
All right, tech roll.
You square your shoulder. Oh, someone's rolling tech.
Well, I guess I'm all right with that.
Feel free
That's-
to call the expert.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
5 successes.
Okay.
5 icons.
So 5 icons. You look at it, and it suddenly makes sense that whatever this is drawing the power that normally would have gone to that light. It's a very subtle way of hiding that there is some form of either like a small cogitator or something built in there. But it's, aside from the fact that the light isn't on, you wouldn't have known it was there. But it does look to be functioning. It looks like there's an active terminal there just waiting to be plugged into.
Did you catch the running light?
I caught the light. Hey, Mr. Tentacles over there, could you come here for a second?
The name is Arghast.
Mr. Tentacles.
And I'm
call
coming.
you Wiggles.
I like Mr. Tentacles.
I do not understand.
Well,
My name
because-
is Arghast.
Technically, you only have the one tentacle, but you do have the arm, so it kind of works as two.
Arm gas.
I shall
it.
investigate with my own tech use test.
Okay.
Let's see. That starts at 9, and then because tech priest.
Question. Are you attempting to interface with it, or are you attempting to just investigate it?
reach out and touch it.
I think I'm just going to interface.
Okay.
You're plugging things into strange port?
Go ahead and roll.
I'm a tech priest. It's what I do.
Oh, you get around.
And any port in a cyberstorm?
I think the rule is don't stick your plug in chaos.
I mean, just some random
Ooh.
port.
That's heresy.
Some random port on public transportation. I mean,
You do not know where
6.
that has been.
6 icons.
So you reach out with one of your small mecha tendrils and you plug it into the terminal. Immediately, feedback hits. You take 2 points of shock as you are suddenly overwhelmed with a jolt of electricity that starts to overload part of your system, and you seem to catch it before it can do any more damage. But you definitely note that whoever put this there definitely secured it.
You had a bit of a ghost charge?
Meh,
Huh.
meh.
Well, you see, whoever it was doesn't want their information discovered.
So you definitely note that when he did that, there's a fizzle and a pop sound, and you actually see some electricity arcing along his mecha tendril as he kind of shakes for a moment and grunts.
See,
Oh.
that just means that we want it.
Do
You-
we hit him with something that does not have electrical transference? Anybody got the 2x4?
I got this tater.
There is no need to strike me.
Oh,
You don't want that retribution.
there goes that opportunity.
I will take
Hey.
a moment to kind of
Check
Touch
yourself
yourself?
over.
medicate myself to recover my shock.
Okay. So we'll say we're going to introduce a mechanic here that we talked about a little bit after the game last time. We're going to be it's called taking half. If you have a skill that is up to a certain number of dice, you may elect, in circumstances where there's no rush or no major consequences for failure, elect to take half. It's the Dungeons and Dragons equivalent of a take 10, where you have a number of successes equal to half your total skill. So if you, for example, have a 10 total in a skill, you can take half and just get 5 successes. So instead of having to roll the dice, you just take it. There's no chance of glory and no chance of anything of that nature, but you can just bypass the test if you think that's going to be enough. We'll allow that as you guys move forward to kind of streamline that as we go.
Thank you for reminding me on that. I will, of course, take half on the Medicaid test, which will do everything I need to, and the minimum recovers the shock I took.
So you take care of yourself. The port itself fizzles slightly, and you see another single little arc of electricity, and then it just goes dormant again.
I didn't know you liked your data extra spicy.
By the way, at this point, several of the other people in the car with you have now vanished. They're gone. They got up and walked away when the tech priest suddenly started poking things and fizzled, and the lights kind of flickered slightly, and they just ran.
Oh, I
I wonder
thought
what
you
their
meant
problem
they
was.
like evaporated or something, and that was going to be even more suspicious.
So, as it is still there. What do you wish to do?
I would like to leave it for now.
What? You poked it, you went all shocky, and now you're going, no big.
Would you like me to try again?
Ah,
Is there not a way to, like, get through their security without getting more spices?
I can certainly
spices?
try.
I mean,
I might anticipate the same result, but knowing that this situation might give me a bit of an edge.
I don't know if there's creams for firewalls. But,
What sort of security bypass would you like to attempt?
Burn cream.
I'm not sure.
To give you an example, you might try using some some fairly standard Mechanicus bypass routines, or you could try Inquisitorial bypass routines, things of that nature.
I will choose to do the typical Adeptus Mechanicus bypass. I don't want to run the risk of identifying that I was using an Inquisitorial bypass.
Okay,
Well,
go
that's
ahead and
smart.
make me another roll.
Okay. So, one less than that. Yes.
And yep,
Uh-oh.
My dice have been delightfully cold this fine evening.
So cold.
You should, I don't know, say a prayer
yeah.
to the Omnissiah or something.
That is just 5 successes.
5 successes. This time you kind of tentatively connect in, and you immediately start running the bypasses, to which they basically hit a wall. That same kind of firewall feeling that you had felt before, and another 2 shock as it arcs out and zaps you again. So once again, he kind of takes a half step back as his robes sizzle a little bit and electricity arcs over his augmetics.
Ooh.
okay.
The lights in the thing kind of flicker again, and at this point they're starting to flicker regularly. The lights along the running seem to be in a way that they may not necessarily last another run of this, unless you're certain of what you're doing.
So I know the tech is not my area of expertise, but I have a question for you. Is there any way to tell what data it is gathering?
Or if it's like a dead drop or something, or...
Right.
You're both pretty certain after looking at it and how it's set up. You're fairly certain this is probably a dead drop of some kind. Someone very specifically set this up as a small, like, hidden area to hide sensitive data.
Can we just take the data core with us?
You could attempt to basically tear up anything that the cogitator that's in there. You might destroy whatever it's holding if you do, especially if it's trapped beyond what it already is.
We can, if we leave in place, we know number of train, we know which car, we can monitor for further activity.
Yes, for if you wish me to try that again, you're on your own. Do it yourself.
I'm not sticking anything of mine in strange
you-
ports.
The machine spirit is very angry.
Do you think you could, suppose, put some sort of little device on it that would cause whoever the next user is to have a worse day?
Oh. Come on,
Sabotaging
tech
a
boy.
piece of machinery sounds like a reasonable idea.
Or at least some
I mean,
sort of alarm
if-
if it's triggered again. I don't
If
know.
if it is no use to us, I see no reason to let someone who is our enemy get the use of it.
But at the same time, we don't even know if this belongs to an enemy. For all we know, this could be belong to other individuals.
That's very true.
You don't blow up a
suppose-
mailbox just because it's not your mailbox.
I mean,
It is felony.
I concur
I
with
don't know
Furia.
what you do back home, but sometimes people get bored out in the country.
I thought
Oh.
you focused on cow tipping.
And as the train makes its way into the mid-hive, as you head towards the bar known as the Bravest, where you're going to be attempting to locate the individual known as Tobias Endrot, that, dear Digitizers, is where we will leave you for this episode. So until next time, this has been Accidental Crusade, and Game
on, Internets.